Who is our SEO resident expert at theLEAP. We've been working with our agency clients for about a year and seeing some really good results. And we basically want to share today with you how to unlock the power of SEO for your recruitment business. This is going to feel quite recruitment centric, but what we're going to be talking about is relevant to other organisations as well. So if you aren't from a recruitment company, I'm sure you'll still find this useful. I think let's start, because this is the first ever topic we've done on SEO. Let's start right from the top. What is it? What is SEO? What does it stand for?
So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And in a nutshell, it's basically ensuring that your website is crawlable and indexable by search engines. So when a search bot comes to your site, SEO helps make sure that they understand what your landing pages are about and what your overall domain is about. It really does encompass a lot of areas though. So as an SEO, you do have to wear multiple hats. Like you have to be proficient in development, you have to be proficient in design. You've got to know a lot about user journey. You've got to understand the psychology of the keywords people are searching to find a particular topic. And then you have to have a strong understanding of content structure and how all those pieces sort of work together to create a more cohesive strategy. So it's a lot. A lot of people think I want to do SEO because I want to get all that free traffic, but in reality, there's a lot of moving pieces to it that you really have to take into consideration when building a solid campaign.
So SEO done well, what would that look like for a company?
In my experience, SEO is done best when there's a team of people working on it. So you'll have that SEO expert that is there guiding the strategy, looking at which pieces need to be implemented, but they also have the support of a developer. They have the support of a content writer, a designer. There's a team of individuals where the SEO can sort of act as a project manager, where they're acting in the best interest of a search engine and providing feedback to the overall marketing strategy that would, again, assure that search engines can effectively crawl the content and each one of the pages on the website as well.
So where does a project start then? When we come to you with a new client that we've just onboarded, what's the approach? What journey do you take a client on?
Yeah, my overall approach is to first look at the website and see how it's currently structured. There are times in the past where I've come across a new site that had like a no index directive applied to the entire sitemap. So they came to me because there's no traffic going to their site. And that's simply because the no index doesn't allow search engines to crawl your site. So first and foremost, I like to look at technical elements to see if there's any quick opportunities that should be addressed. But really what it comes down to is defining the goals of the organization. So what is it you're looking to accomplish? A lot of people are like, we want to rank for these particular recruitment terms. So, okay, let's start there. Let's build up a keyword list where we can look at which terms you want to be ranking for based off of the services that you're going to be offering. Then let's look at how your site currently represents those keywords. So that's where next step from keyword research would be to get into something like a keyword map, which basically I look at it as kind of like a roadmap. It's the blueprint for the foundation of your website. So that will allow you to map your specific keywords to a landing page on your site, or help you identify if a new landing page is needed to rank for that particular keyword term. So in the beginning, it's a high-level technical overview of the site, looking for low-hanging fruit opportunities, but also building out that keyword strategy as it relates to your business goals and figuring out which terms you want your site to be ranking for.
So when it comes to the keywords, I think everyone starts with what they think someone might search for. So let's say industry plus recruitment. How do you take that initial idea? How do you take that and move it from that initial suggestion through to a more robust keyword map?
That actually gets deep into the weeds, but I'll try to explain it a little more clearly. But basically we call those seed keywords, and those seed keywords are what we use to see what else is out there within that particular topic. So for example, if you're looking for a specific industry plus recruitment as like a keyword combination you want to rank for, well, there may be other more long tail keywords that we want to focus on as well. So maybe that's industry recruitment agency or industry recruitment agency in London. Maybe we're applying a geo modifier to it. And the reason why it's important to look at those is because a lot of times those seed keywords are basically, or you can call them a head keyword as well, or a head term. They're going to come with more search volume, but they're also going to come with more search difficulty. So if we're looking to create a strategy where we can see some quick wins as well as hit some long-term goals as well, then it's important to be looking at that, or casting a wider net from a keyword perspective, so that we can go after some low-hanging fruit opportunities, while again also focusing on those long-term opportunities. Because one thing we haven't hit upon yet is that SEO isn't a overnight success type of thing. It's something that's going to take a long time as like a process. It will evolve to like a 6 to up to 2 year process to start seeing substantial results from some of those efforts, depending on how competitive the market is.
Some people listening might be thinking, I know we were just using as example like industry plus recruitment, but is there a way of deciphering whether the traffic searching for specific terms are job seekers or client?
Yeah, that's definitely where it gets down to the psychology of the keyword term and looking at what the intent is behind the query. So for example, if you're searching for like recruitment jobs, that's probably somebody looking for a position versus a client looking to find a recruitment firm. But a good way that you can sort of use free resources in order to define the intent of a keyword is to simply use search engines. So for example, if you were to type in industry plus recruitment in the search bar, you would see then a bunch of results that come up. And if you're looking at those listings and reading the meta titles and descriptions, looking at some of the people also ask boxes that are coming up in the search result as well, that'll give you a good indicator as to what Google has defined as the intent for that keyword. So they spend billions of dollars developing these search engines to cater to the searcher so that the result that's coming back to them is accurate and effective. So utilize that information that they're giving to you for free, essentially. So by using the search result, that's definitely a great way to figure out what the intent is behind the query.
So would you start with a simple Google search and then move on to looking at using more specific SEO tools to find the difficulty and all those other aspects that you were describing before?
There are ways to get free information. You don't have to sign up for an SEO tool. So again, like I said, using Google. So as you're typing something into a search bar, you'll notice that Google's trying to figure out what you're trying to type. That's called Google Autocomplete. So that's great ways to see additional keywords related to what you've started typing. The people also ask section of the search result, which comes up pretty high. As you click through those, you'll see more and more questions coming up. That's another great way to find topical keyword research. But like there are terms out there, or there are tools, I should say, out there where you can utilize for free or have a paid subscription. So also ask.com is a good resource that you can use to do some keyword research. You can search by the country as well that you're looking to target. So you will see differing search volumes based off of like the UK versus the US, for example.
So when you're carrying out a campaign, how much info do you look to gather on like the personas? Is it important information?
I think it's great information to have. The more information you can give in SEO, the better. Because the thing is, if you think about it from like, you're taking it from a high level approach where you're just providing a little bit of data here and there, well, the results we're going to generate are going to be higher level as well. But if you're more granular and you're saying, hey, we want to focus in on this, this, and this, that's going to allow us to look at, all right, let's focus in on more conversion intent keywords. Let's build a proper funnel where it's, we have those conversion intent terms at the bottom that we're looking to go after. They're probably lower volume, but they have a higher conversion rate. We should also create another layer for mid and upper funnel queries where we're hitting on educational terms as well, just to have a great complement of content within the site. So the more information we're provided, we can then structure the research to cater towards all levels of the funnel, which is important from a conversion standpoint.
So if there's somebody listening, they've got no website, they're not sure about how well it's performing in terms of SEO, perhaps there's a bit of pressure from the board, that competitors are coming up higher in search results. That's normally how it starts. I remember that from my in-house days. What are the first steps to take?
Again, if you have a website, it's pretty important to be setting up Google Analytics as well as Google Search Console. So though we're not getting the entirety of the data within these Google tools, there are some that it's protected through private search and so on. It does give a good representation of what your data looks like. So as you mentioned with Google Analytics, we can see a lot of traffic metrics there. We can see landing page performance. And what that does is that gives you a clue as to which pages are top performers on your site. You couple that with some data that's in Google Search Console. Search Console is going to show you some of the keyword terms people have used to come to your site. And that's really important, because when you click through that performance report and you're looking through, if you want to filter just by recruiter keywords, you'll be able to see that list of recruiter terms that your site's showing up for. If you notice that there are some that are missing that you really want there, well, maybe look at your site and see do you have any content on the site that targets those terms? Because if you don't, then how is Google supposed to know you're targeting that particular sector? So those tools can be extremely helpful when looking at your landing page strategy as well as your keyword strategy, in addition to looking for technical issues. So in Search Console, they'll show you if there's something wrong with your site. They'll show you, we couldn't crawl this because a no index was applied to these pages. So in that pages report, you'll be able to see or get an insight into the technical analysis of your domain's performance.
Most people should have Google Analytics set up, I'm sure, even if whoever built the website must have done it at the time. Or if not, it's pretty simple to add, isn't it, to a website? Obviously, then you don't get historical data, but you can start collecting it. So would we say the first step to understand how much traffic they're currently getting from organic, and then to understand the keywords that are currently driving traffic, is that something you can only see in Search Console, or would you be able to see that in Google Analytics as well?
You can see the keyword side of it if Search Console is linked up to Analytics, but a lot of times I see new sites not having Search Console set up. It's one of those tools that seems to, for some reason, not be on the top priority list when a site develops, which is a shame, because it's a great tool and there's a lot of good insights that can be pulled from it. What I often see when someone new to SEO comes to me is that a lot of their traffic's branded. And a good indicator of that is if most of your traffic is going to the homepage. So even if you don't have Search Console set up and you see that you're getting very few entrances to other pages on your site, 90+% of it's all coming from the homepage, that's a good indicator that most of your traffic is coming from branded, and that you really do need to do some work to get some non-branded keyword visibility up.
And by that, just because I know we use these terms a lot, but in terms of branded search, it's like someone literally Googling your company name, isn't it? So
that's right.
You might feel like you're doing well on the SEO front, but actually it could be a totally separate marketing activity that's building awareness of the company brand, that's leading people to just go straight into Google and type in your company name. And obviously most people would rank. Would most people rank for their company name?
It depends on the name. Like if your name is unique, you're gonna have an easier time ranking for it. But if you do take more of like a general industry term, then that could be harder. You could be up against some competition. So I have actually seen recruitment companies where they were ranking on page 2 or 3 for their brand name, just because of the fact that it was similar to a brand that's already been there doing SEO for a long time, or it was more of just like a general industry related term. In
Google Search Console, they'll be able to see how much traffic is branded, how many keywords they're actually ranking for already that are non-branded. And then you take that information, you take the buyer persona information that you talked about, get that from the marketing team, or if you're a marketing function, and think about what your target audience would be searching for. And then you mentioned, I feel like I'm summarizing a little bit, but then I guess we've talked about a lot of different aspects. And that's when you jump into throwing those keywords into Google as a first step, seeing what the results show before moving into using tools like Also Asked. What tools can you actually look at the search volume and difficulty? What tools would you recommend for that?
Some tools that you can get a little bit of free data out of are SEMrush and like SE rankings. So if you don't have an account, they allow like up to a certain amount of searches on a daily basis. Those are tools. Like if you are looking to do SEO in-house and just get started for a little bit of money each month, they do provide a lot of value. So it is worth signing up for an SEO focused tool if that is something you want to do on your own. So I personally love SE Ranking and SEMrush. I think they're both really good tools, and they provide a wealth of information, competitive analysis as well.
So let's say there's a company, there's a marketing manager listening. They're not ready to outsource anything yet for SEO. They just want to see what they can do themselves in-house. What's Tim's top tip for them to get things moving?
Top tip to get things moving definitely would be just to start with the basics. So start by making sure that you have analytics set up. Start by making sure Search Console is set up and look at that data to see what kind of insights you can pull from it. So I would strongly suggest going to the performance report in Search Console and taking a look at some of the keywords that are driving traffic and impressions to your site. In there, you may notice that there's a lot of branded, but there may be some non-branded stuff that's showing a decent amount of impressions, but not getting any clicks. And if you click on the average position box in Search Console, it's like an orange box that's at the top of the page, you'll be able to see where that keyword's positioned over the period of time that you're searching. So if you, for example, if you find that there's one term that you really like and it's got an average position of 20 and it's gotten thousands of impressions but no clicks, well, it's because it's well off of page 1. That's why. So maybe find that ranking page for that term, then optimize it a bit. Add a few keywords to the text there. Make sure that that title tag and header tag have the keyword mentioned within it as well. So I think summing it up in more of a shorter way, have your foundation built, have your analytics set up, have Search Console set up, and start playing with that data and understanding where your opportunities for improvement are.
And then in terms of the content plan, how does the keyword map apply to the content creation aspect?
So basically, as I mentioned, the keyword map is sort of the foundation of a good content strategy. So what that does is, as an SEO, I would go through and build a keyword map where I'm essentially saying each one of these pages need to target these specific keyword terms. That helps writers go through and create that content for the page, target those specific terms, but also so that they're not duplicating efforts, so that they're not using those keywords on other pages. We call that keyword cannibalization in the industry. And basically what that means is you may have 2 or 3 pages that are targeting the same term. Google's going to look at that as like, all right, this particular page is relevant to that. This particular page is relevant to the same term in this page. It's going to kind of disperse equity across all 3 pages. Therefore, you're not going to have this one resource that is very strong and holding all the equity. So it may not rank as well as it could. So a keyword map allows you to make sure that you're applying your best efforts towards one particular page, and then you can use the map as an internal linking strategy. So internal linking gets down a bit of a wormhole with SEO best practices, but essentially what you want to do is you do want to have links within your content pointing to different pages throughout the site, because that helps Google understand your overall sitemap hierarchy. So for example, if they're seeing more links coming from pointing to a particular page, they're going to say, okay, this page is probably more important than some of these other pages. So that keyword map allows you to link to that page from other pages while using that keyword term as what we call the anchor text, which is essentially just that clickable text that you may have seen in content as you're navigating web pages.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And I'm feeling like the obvious download giveaway for this session needs to be a keyword map. What does, like, we need to show people what it looks like. Can you describe it? You know, I'm imagining a map and compass here. Like, what does it actually look like?
It's basically a spreadsheet. And what I'll do is after I've done my keyword research, I'll have this giant list of keyword terms, and I'll then take those terms and basically put them into a column. So I will have column A would be like my page title. So what's that page called? It's the home page, it's the technical recruiter page, whatever that top level navigation or secondary level navigation page is. Column B will include the keywords that I want to target. Generally speaking, I like to stay within 3 to 5 keywords, maybe even less sometimes, per page. The column after that will include the search volume, the keyword difficulty, and then oftentimes within the keyword map will also include a couple columns for like meta title, meta description, H1, just to make sure all that is mapped out accordingly for each one of the pages. But basically, it's just a spreadsheet where you can see which URLs are going to rank for which keywords.
Okay, nice. And would you plan blog content in the same way?
I would generally have a separate tab for blog content. I do like to separate my keyword maps a bit because I want the navigation, the main site to be hyper-focused. I want to be able to see all that in one spot. You know, because you can imagine over the years as you're writing blog content, that list can get gigantic depending on how many posts you're doing per month. But I like to create a separate doc for blog articles where we can then create content clusters and just see like, all right, these particular topics, how can we group them all together? How can we organize them in such a way where we can create resources or guides towards specific topics as well? But that might be a conversation for another day.
I was about to say separate tabs, separate live streams. So that can be our next one. We'll talk through coming up with a keyword strategy for blog content. And that sounds like a logical place to close today's session. So thanks so much, Tim. Hopefully, if you've been listening, you've gotten some value from that. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments and Tim and I will come back to you. Or of course, just get in touch. I'm more than happy to help. All right, we'll catch you next time. Thanks again.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.